The following program contains violence, disturbing imagery, nudity, and, oh my God, why are you even watching this? Just run away. This shit is going to give you nightmares.
Recorded live at the Jerrad Show studios in Tampa, Florida. It's another episode of the Jerrad Show. And now, here's your host, Jerrad Suarez.
That's right. I'm back on top, baby. Back on top of the world. Another one. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of The Jerrad Show. I'm your host, Jerrad Suarez. The Jerrad Show is now without co-host. It's just me, baby. Just me and you. We got the headphones on, hopefully. You're listening to this in your head. That would be nice. Heck, maybe you're listening to this in your car. And you're blasting it out to everybody that's on the sidewalk. That's awesome. You're such a great person. Thank you for listening. On YouTube and Stitcher and Spreaker and everywhere you listen to us. I appreciate it. Today is Monday, October 30th. I've decided to change up the format of the show a little bit and actually decided to just go ahead and record a show every day. Every day of the week, I'm just going to go ahead and jump on and record a show, and this is it, man. This is it. I've got a couple of topics that I want to talk about. We can talk about the loss of the co-host, why there is no more co-host on the Jerrad Show. We could talk about that a little bit, but first I want to get into what we played the song in the beginning. Some of you guys might have noticed that. Hopefully a lot of you guys are not out of the loop, and you did notice that song was a remix of the Stranger Things theme. Stranger Things is out. October 27th, it came out 3 days ago, and, it took me all of 2 days to watch every episode. I've got a bit of a problem with Stranger Things 2. The problem with shows that I have is it happens with a lot of shows. It's not just Stranger Things, but it's when a show has a narrative that works, when it's got a set pattern that it follows, it works. Case in point being the new Star Trek Discovery. It is terrible. It's not a good show. It's so far away from what a Star Trek actually is, what Star Trek is to many of the Trekkies and the casual fans like myself. I've watched a lot of The Next Generation, a lot of Voyager, a lot of just the TV shows in general. And one of the great things about Star Trek is that it's episodic, meaning that the entire story that the episode tells is in that one episode. And you're not going to have to tune in next week to figure out, what happened with this or with that, or the Klingons and the Vulcans, whatever's going on in the Star Trek universe. It's all wrapped up into one episode, and that's what I loved about Star Trek, is that you could just jump in any episode, didn't matter where you were at. As long as you had some sort of understanding of who the characters were, you would be all right. Voyager is very much one of those kind of shows that you can just pop right in. It gets a little bit crazy as you get to like season 5, season 6, right? With 7 of 9 coming in, and if you didn't watch the show during that time, you're like, who's this new blonde chick with the big old titties? I think that Star Trek Discovery made a huge mistake. It's only 17 episodes this season, and it really feels like they're making it a 17-hour-long movie. And that's not what Star Trek fans are looking for. I mean, personally, I'm not. I wasn't a really big fan of the J.J. Abrams movies. He wrote them, so they're his stories as well. They're so far from what I, as a Star Trek fan, know Star Trek to be. Again, I was never really a fan of the original series. I've watched a ton of episodes. Not a big fan of them. Not a big fan of the original cast and their movies. But I think that this show that's out now, Star Trek Discovery, is just too far from what everyone likes in Star Trek. And that's what's crazy about that to me, is that at the same time that they've got this new Star Trek out on the CBS app, which there's a lot of people that are upset that the new Star Trek, you have to pay for an app and you're still getting commercials. It's a bit ridiculous that you're going to pay $6 a month, $7 a month. I know that's menial. Well, I don't know if menial is the correct word there. Little tiny bit of money to go to your Star Trek fandom. I know that people would have paid money for Star Trek back in the day, but they paid with it for ads. They paid for it with ads. I'm actually going to correct myself. I'm all over the table right now. I can't get my words together. Let's get them together, folks. So Stranger Things, I feel like Stranger Things 2 did deviate from the working narrative, similar along the lines of Star Trek Discovery, but actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it's completely different. And the the problems that I had with Stranger Things are, I mean, there's a lot. Honestly, there are a lot of issues that I had with Stranger Things 2. I did not like, spoiler warning, I tried to cut it out with the with all the Star Trek talk that I put in. Maybe you might not, listen past that. But if you haven't seen Stranger Things 2, I'm going to be talking about it right now. My problem with the show is the new characters. Max and Billy, the stepbrother and stepsister, I felt like they were completely unnecessary. There was a lot of scenes that Max was in, pretty much every scene that she was in, that added nothing to the show. I mean, absolutely nothing was added to the show. I feel like the producers came to the writers and they were like, look, Eleven's got her own thing going on in this series. I like where you're going with this. I really feel like this was a conversation between the director or the writers and the producers. They turned in a script and they're like, look, this is a great story. Eleven's kind of not in the picture for most of this season. So if we can get some sort of a character, a strong female lead in there with the guys, I feel like we're going to draw a better audience, or we're going to attract a broader audience. And I felt like it was completely unnecessary. And I feel like that was the only reason why they decided to add Max. And then Billy, her stepbrother, was completely useless. Like, you could have I can go and cut out every scene that Billy was in. And it made no sense to have him in there. I mean, the show would still not miss a beat without him being there. I mean, the stuff with him and Steve, I feel like the producers had way too much say in this show, in the writing of the show, because I don't feel like if you're writing the show, it's completely unnecessary to have those characters. It really is. That's one thing I didn't like about it. Another thing that I didn't like about Stranger Things 2 was Dart. The whole thing about, Dustin learning, or, finding a little baby Demogorgon and, it turned into like a Gremlins kind of a thing. I mean, I don't understand why they put that part in there. He could have never found that baby Demogorgon, and everything still would have gone on just the same. I feel like they didn't really learn anything from that addition, from having that baby Demogorgon dog thing. Dimmadog? Sorry, Dustin. Yeah, Dimmadog. The only reason that that kind of a relationship between Dustin and the Dimmadog, the only reason why it even kind of made any sense is at the end when, he breaks out the candy bar and he's like, oh, look, we got, some candy. It's a big Dimmadog at that point, and he has some sort of a connection, which is cool, but not necessary. Again, I feel like if they would have just walked out of the tunnel and didn't have to deal with Dart, it would have been completely the same. Also, why is Dart guarding the exit to the tunnel when the rest of the Dimmadogs all went to try to stop? I don't understand why they had that relationship in the show, and I felt like that and the new characters really took away from the series. They were good characters. Max was a good character. I mean, she wasn't bad. Billy, on the other hand, terrible character. I don't know why. I really don't know why that character was in there. I don't know why they had to choose that actor. I felt like he was suppressing an Australian. I don't know the guy. I should probably look this up and see if Billy is actually an Australian actor, the guy who plays Billy in the new Stranger Things season 2. Here we go. Billy, Stranger Things wiki. Yep, that's him. This is just the wiki, so it's just telling me, the basics. Billy moved from California to Hawkins in 1984, attending Hawkins High School. Yeah, that's not telling me who. I got his name now. His name's Billy Hargrove, so let's look this up. Billy Hargrove. Oh, that's wrong. Actor. There we go. Darce Montgomery. Boom. Australian actor. I knew it. See, okay, so he also played the Red Ranger, I guess, in the new Power Rangers. I didn't see that. I don't know why he was added to the show. I don't know why his character was in the show. It was not good. I mean, I guess it gave the audiences somebody to hate because he was just a completely unlikable character. There was no redeeming value to his character whatsoever. He didn't come back like it. In the first Stranger Things, you had Steve, and Steve was a dickhead. He was trying to get in Nancy's pants, and that's all he gave a shit about. That's all. I mean, he didn't really care about her, you felt like. And then in the end, he redeems himself. He comes back. He's got the fucking badass bat, and he whoops the ass of the Demogorgon. He saves the kids, steps up, and, mans up. And this guy, Billy, there's no redeeming factors to him. What happens? I don't even remember what happened to him at the end. He was that boring of a character that I don't even remember what happened to him. I don't know. TV these days, man. Star Trek Discovery really pissed me off. I got about 5 episodes in, and I was like, this is not fucking Star Trek. There was no strong male lead character for the audience to gravitate towards. Even the main character, Michael Burnham, who's played by Sonequa Martin Green, she played Sasha on The Walking Dead, which I would love to get into The Walking Dead as well while we're here on this podcast. But I feel like her character on Star Trek Discovery it breaks the mold of what a Star Trek officer is supposed to be, and not in a good way. She's just defiant and a lone wolf, kind of. She's doing her own thing, and I don't like it. She doesn't follow orders, and I mean, I don't know. Maybe this season is gonna play out, and it's gonna get better, but I really doubt it. It's so far from what a Star Trek is. I can't get into it. I do like Sonequa Martin Green. I do like her as an actress. I think she's nailing the Vulcan, the little tiny aspects of being a Vulcan, and the inflections in her voice. It really comes across that she has had a lot of experience as a Vulcan or on Vulcan, which was cool. I like her as an actress. I liked her on The Walking Dead. Another pointless death to that show. I really didn't think that it was time for Sasha to go, die in her story arc. There could have been a lot more to come of that. Infiltrating the saviors, whatnot. She had a kind of a relationship with Negan that was it was cool, but that whole show is a different monster entirely. Last season of The Walking Dead, they beat the shit out of Glenn's head, spoilers, in the first episode, and that was an amazing moment in television when they brutally murdered a long-standing character in a show, and for the effect of showing that Negan was a monster, and a psychopath, that he could, smash in a guy's head with a baseball bat and make jokes about it. That really conveyed the message that Negan was crazy. And it worked. And I felt like the rest of the season kind of, after that episode, after Glenn gets his brain smashed in, and then obviously Abraham as well, because they couldn't be just like the comics. After that, I feel like the show started hitting the brakes. It slowed down a lot. And by the last episode of last season, I was so mad. That was when they attacked Alexandria. The Saviors attacked with the wolves. I believe that was it. And yeah, because Shiva came in, the tiger came in. Yeah, okay, so I feel like that episode, that ending, was very drawn out, very slow. And then they picked up right here in the new season, which just premiered 2 weeks ago. And they picked right on up with it being slow and drawn out and a bunch of foreshadowing. They added flashbacks, and you didn't know what, how the timeline was structured for the show. It was very confusing, very slow, very drawn out, and at one point they even counted to 10. And at that point, I was so mad. I was so mad at the show for making me watch somebody count down seconds. I mean, and it wasn't even, I think it was like a calm down kind of thing, like calm down, count to 10 kind of thing. I might be wrong. I might be completely wrong, but it was infuriating watching a fucking premiere where they count. And then they did it again. They counted again at the end of the show where he's like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and then starts firing. We get, 3 minutes of gunfights? And then the show's over, and it flashes back to Old Man Rick, which still doesn't make any fucking sense. I mean, that's what I'm talking about, the Star Trek Discovery breaking away from the mold of the episodic and serialized. That's why I don't like serialized TV shows, is because you're at the end of the episode. This week's episode, I'm watching it on PlayStation View, so I watch along with everybody else live. And by the end of the episode, I have more fucking questions than when I started. I what the fuck was going on in that premiere? I don't know. So last night I tuned in to the new episode, and I was happy to see a lot more action. This is supposed to be all-out war this season for The Walking Dead, and I just want to see fucking fighting. I just want to see the Saviors fighting Rick's group. Just nonstop fucking action. Main characters dying because it's war. I just want to see main characters die. I want Michonne to die. I want somebody whose heartstrings will be tugged at when they die. Your heartstrings, not theirs, obviously. I think that last night's episode was a step in the right direction. And if I'm to believe what the producer, Scott and Gimple, said, it's supposed to be like that for the next 3 episodes, or I think it's another 2 episodes. And it's just supposed to be nonstop crazy action. I did have a problem, however. Excuse me. I found it quite funny that when they were shooting the gun. Okay, when they were shooting the guns, the entire episode was shooting guns. When they would shoot a gun at a car, it would ricochet off the car or bounce right off the car. And I couldn't figure it out. I mean, I've seen cars get shot, and I've never seen a bulletproof car like that. Like, I mean, these were taking automatic rifle hits to the side of the car, bouncing right off. I guess Eugene's making bubblegum bullets now. I don't know. I guess they can't be real bullets. I would love to know what the producers are doing to make those bullet effects. Because we've obviously seen that the effects budget has dropped drastically this season. The explosion in the premiere, the explosions in the premiere were terrible. I could probably download software and make an explosion effect that was comparable to what they pulled off on the premiere. It was terrible. It looked like cartoon fire. Shiva looks terrible. The effects of the zombies are all right. There's some sort of new zombie with that looks like he got sprayed with bleach, or maybe he was in a vat of bleach. I don't know. It looked like there was bleach marks on his clothing where it was completely bleached out. But I think that's where all the effects money is going, is into the Greg Nicotero zombies. And that's it. I mean, I can't even imagine how they were making those terrible bullet effects. There were no holes in the side of the car. They'd shoot the gun, the bullet would bounce like it was made of bubblegum right off the car. And I mean, people got shot. People died. Nobody significant died, but I don't know. TV has really been pissing me off recently, and I don't know. I just feel like it's a lot of things are greedy and like moves that are like based off of greed. And it's like the Star Trek people, they're like, I want to make another Star Trek episode, or movie or TV show. So they did. And they scammed a bunch of people out of money and time, telling them it's a Star Trek, and it's not. And then Stranger Things was good. Those last 2 episodes were great, but again, there was a lot of unnecessary chuffa, as Bruce Willis would say. Tripping over my own tongue here, folks. Thanks for listening to another episode of Jerrad Show. Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think I'm right? Chime in. Hit me up on Facebook at facebook.com/Jerrad Show, or at Jerrad Show on Twitter or on Instagram. Tell me what you thought. Did you like Star Trek Discovery? Do you think the Orville is more like Star Trek than Star Trek Discovery? I don't know. Did you like Stranger Things too? Chime in. Hit me up with all that. But that's another episode of the Jerrad Show. I'm gonna try to do these every day. I'm just gonna hop on and see what I can get going. Tomorrow is Halloween. We got a big Halloween episode. We got a couple of guests signed up to do the show for Halloween. It's a big one. It's only one time a year that you can dress up like a devil or a woman and not get asked questions for it. So thanks for tuning in. Hope you tune in tomorrow. Hope you tune in for the rest of the week, because I'm gonna be here.